The compliment wasn't wrong, you just couldn't let it in, and the reason has nothing to do with modesty. Something strange happens to certain people when they are praised. The better the compliment, the worse it feels. March 2026. Billie Eilish sits down with Rolling Stone. She is 24 years old, 9 Grammys deep, and one of the most recognized artists on the planet. The interviewer tells her she is brilliant, and Eilish cringes. Visibly, physically, she laughs it off, redirects, talks about her brother instead. 9 Grammys, hundreds of millions of streams, a generation shaped by her sound, and a simple compliment makes her flinch. You have done a smaller version. Someone told you that you did a good job, and your first instinct was to explain why it wasn't that hard. A friend said you looked great, and you pointed out the flaw they missed. A colleague praised your work, and you credited the team, the timeline, the luck. That is not humility. Humility does not flinch. What you felt in that moment is something older and more specific. It is the feeling of being told something about yourself that contradicts who you believe you are. This video is about why compliments feel wrong to you. We are going to look at the childhood equation that taught you to distrust praise. We will name the psychologist who explained it most clearly. We will find the 3 specific ways you deflect every time, and we will land on a practice, 2 seconds long, that begins to rewire the reflex. By the end, you will know why the compliment felt like a lie, and you will know it wasn't one. Most people think they deflect compliments because they are modest. They are not modest. They are loyal. Loyal to a version of themselves that someone else wrote a long time ago. To see what that means, we have to start with the flinch and what it is actually protecting. Flinch. You already know what it feels like. The compliment lands and your body responds before your mind does. A tightness in your chest, a laugh that comes too quickly, an urge to correct. It is not shyness. Shy people blush and accept. This is different. This is a rejection that disguises itself as graciousness. You smile and say, "Oh, it was nothing," but the nothing is a wall. And you built it so fast, you didn't notice the construction. The friend who told you that you were talented. You said, "I just got lucky." The partner who said you looked beautiful. You said, "This old thing," the boss who praised your presentation. You said, "Honestly, the slides did the heavy lifting." Every single redirect was instant, practiced, seamless. Carl Rogers, the psychologist who built an entire school of therapy around unconditional regard, noticed something in his patients. The ones who struggled most with praise were not the ones who had received too little of it. They were the ones who had received love with conditions attached. Love that arrived when they performed. Love that withdrew when they didn't. Rogers called these conditions of worth. The silent rules a child absorbs about when they deserve to be valued. The rules are never spoken aloud. They do not need to be. A child reads the room faster than any therapist ever will. And so the compliment doesn't feel like a gift. It feels like a test. Because somewhere inside you, a voice says, "If I accept this, I'm claiming to be something I was never told I was allowed to be." The question isn't why you deflect, it's who taught you to. The equation you were given. Rogers spent decades studying what happens when love is conditional. His conclusion was precise. A child who is only valued when they perform will build an internal equation. I am lovable when. I am worthy if. The equation becomes the child's operating system. It runs underneath everything. The equation is different for everyone. For some it is, I am lovable when I am useful. For others, I am lovable when I am quiet, when I am small, when I achieve, when I do not ask for too much. The content changes, the structure never does. Now here is what happens when a compliment arrives. The compliment says, "You are talented." But the equation says, "I am only lovable when I work hard." Talented implies something natural, something you didn't earn. And if you didn't earn it, it doesn't count. So the compliment contradicts the equation. When the compliment contradicts the equation, the mind experiences something psychologists call cognitive dissonance. two beliefs that cannot both be true at the same time. And the mind will resolve the conflict the same way every time. It sides with the older belief. The equation wins. So the compliment feels like a lie, not because it is false, but because accepting it would mean the equation was wrong. And if the equation is wrong, then the foundation of your identity has a crack in it. The child who built their entire sense of worth around that equation cannot afford to let the crack grow. This is why the flinch is so fast. It is not a social reflex. It is a structural defense. You are not deflecting a compliment. You are defending an identity, the wrong identity perhaps, but the only one you have ever known. And here's the part that makes it hardest to see clearly. The equation doesn't feel like a wound. It feels like wisdom. It feels like the mature, grounded belief that you shouldn't get too full of yourself. That confidence is dangerous. That pride comes before a fall. The equation dressed itself in virtue so long ago that you forgot it was armor. The loyalty problem. Here is the part no one says out loud. You are not modest. You are loyal. Loyal to the version of you that a parent defined, or a teacher, or a first love who made you feel like you were only worth what you could do for them. Somewhere in your past, someone drew an outline of who you were, and you have been living inside that outline ever since. The compliment asks you to step outside the outline. When someone says you are talented, or beautiful, or impressive, they are describing a person who exceeds the outline. And exceeding the outline feels like a betrayal, not of them, of the person who drew it. This is why the deflection is so automatic. The speed of the flinch matches the depth of the loyalty. You are not thinking about what to say. You are protecting a covenant you made before you had the vocabulary to name it. And the belief underneath the loyalty is specific. You have heard it in your own head, even if you have never said it aloud. If I accept this compliment, I am arrogant. If I believe something good about myself, I am setting myself up to be hurt. If I let this in, the fall will be worse. That belief is not yours. It was installed by a household where confidence was punished, by a classroom where standing out meant being cut down, by a relationship where the moment you felt good about yourself, someone made sure you didn't for long. The shame you feel when someone praises you is not modesty. It is the old loyalty doing its job. It is your nervous system keeping you inside the outline, where it is familiar, where the equation still works, where no one can accuse you of thinking too much of yourself. And the cruelest part is this: the people who drew the outline usually did not mean to harm you. They were inside their own outlines, passing down the only shape they knew. The 3 deflections. There are 3 ways you reject praise, 3 specific patterns. Once you see them, you will catch yourself doing one of them before this video ends. Deflection 1, the redirect. Someone says, "That was brilliant work." You say, "Oh, the team really carried it." Or, "Honestly, the brief made it easy." The compliment is aimed at you, and you redirect it like a mirror, bouncing the light onto someone or something else. Your contribution disappears. The redirect feels generous. It sounds humble. But it is telling the person who praised you that their perception is wrong, that they saw something that wasn't there. You are not sharing credit. You are erasing yourself from it. Deflection 2, the discount. Someone says, "You are so talented." You say, "I just got lucky," or "It's really not that impressive." The discount doesn't redirect the praise. It attacks the praise directly. It reduces the value of the thing being complimented until it is small enough to accept. Here is the tell. The discount often arrives with a laugh, a small self-deprecating chuckle that says, "Let's not take this too seriously." The laugh is the armor's sound, quick, automatic, charming enough that no one questions it. Deflection 3, the return. Someone says, "I love your jacket." You say, "Oh my God, yours is amazing." The compliment is immediately lobbed back. It looks like warmth. It is a transfer of attention. The return ensures that the spotlight never stays on you long enough for the discomfort to settle. All 3 deflections serve the same purpose. They protect you from having to stand in the compliment and feel it. They keep the equation intact, and they send the same quiet message to the person who praised you. What you see in me is not real. The 2-second practice. Here is the practice. It takes 2 seconds. It will feel like standing naked in a room full of people. That is how you know it is working. The next time someone gives you a compliment and you feel the flinch, do one thing. Say thank you, nothing else. 2 words, no redirect, no discount, no return. Just thank you. Then stop talking. The flinch will come anyway. It will arrive as a physical sensation, a tightness in your chest, a heat in your face, an almost unbearable urge to add something, to explain, to minimize, to volley the praise back. Let the urge sit there. 2 seconds. Those 2 seconds are the space between the old equation and the new one. The old equation says, correct this immediately. The new equation says, what if you just let it land? You do not have to believe the compliment. That is not what this practice asks. You do not have to agree that you are talented or beautiful or impressive. You only have to stop arguing with the person who said it. There is a difference between believing the praise and allowing it to exist. Here is the second part. After you say thank you, notice what your body does. That reaction, the heat, the tension, the urge to deflect, that is the old equation running. You are not broken. You are just running old software. And old software can be updated. Try it once, today. With the next compliment that comes, say thank you. Hold the silence, feel the flinch, and let it pass without obeying it. The nervous system does not change through understanding. It changes through repetition, one thank you at a time. What the compliment was always for. Here is the reframe that changes everything. A compliment is not a verdict. It is not a claim about your worth. It is not a test you have to pass or fail. A compliment is one person telling you what they see. That is all. Not what you are. Not what you must now live up to. Just what they saw in one moment from where they stood. When you deflect, you are not protecting yourself from arrogance. You are protecting yourself from being seen. And being seen is what you actually need. Eilish flinched at the Rolling Stone interview, but she stayed in the room. She didn't walk out. The flinch is not the problem. The flinch is just the old equation firing. What matters is what you do after it. Every deflection tells the person who praised you the same thing. Your perception is wrong. And over time, the people who care about you stop offering what keeps getting sent back. The wall you built to protect your identity starts to isolate it instead. You have permission to be the person they described. Not because every compliment is accurate, but because you are allowed to exist outside the outline that was drawn for you when you were too young to object. The equation said, I am only worthy when. The truth is simpler. You are worthy. The win was never yours. It was handed to you by people who had their own equation running. Roger spent his career trying to give people one experience. Unconditional positive regard, not approval of every choice. Just the quiet belief that you are worth seeing regardless. The next compliment that arrives is not your enemy. It is someone trying to show you a version of yourself that you have not yet allowed yourself to see. You do not have to believe it today. You just have to stop sending it back. So the next time the flinch comes and the deflection rises in your throat, say thank you. Hold the silence. And for 2 seconds, let yourself be the person they just described. You were never too much. You were never too little. You were just loyal to a definition that was too small for who you actually are. If this reached you, stay. Because next we are going somewhere even closer to the bone. Into the psychology of why you keep checking whether the people you love are angry with you and what that vigilance is actually guarding against.